Molweni, Sanibonani, Dumela, Abashini. Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome or welcome back to African Xhosa ASMR. Based on the title, this is going to be a true crime ASMR video where we will cover two different cases which recently happened or are still happening within South Africa. Some of these cases, or both of these cases, have a huge impact towards the laws being implemented in South Africa, and they are most likely to have an impact towards our legislation or perhaps new laws being developed around the matter. Without further ado, let's get started. Our first case that we are going to be covering is that of Dr. Malekutu J. Mehlape, whom I'm going to be referring to as Dr. J. Dr. J was a 56-year-old widower. His wife's name was Paulina Ne Mathole. Dr. J was a circuit manager at the Limpopo Department of Education. He was from Menkweng Zone 1, just outside of Polokwane. He had 2 kids, a boy and a girl. His daughter's name is Magdeline Mehlape, and his son's name is Manake Mehlape. On the 28th of December 2023, Dr. J unfortunately lost his life. And this is a story of what happened according to his daughter when she made a statement with the South African police. Around December the 20s up until the 5th of January, if I may put it that way, is a very busy season. It's the holiday season, the Christmas season. So a lot of people are busy entertaining themselves, attending parties, dinners, and also meeting up with family, friends, etc. So, according to Magdalene, the daughter of Dr. J, she was coming back from an event on the 28th of December, late at night. As she was about to enter the gate to her family house, there were 2 men who approached her and then put a pow-pow pointing at her. They told her not to make any noise and open the gate and lead them to the house. She claims that she complied. She proceeded to open the gate and then went inside the house with the 2 perpetrators. When inside the house, they asked where her father was, and then that's when she directed them to her father's bedroom where he was fast asleep because it's late at night. They entered her father's bedroom, woke him up with a pow-pow pointing at him, and they told him to hand out all the money that he has, including valuables like cell phones, for example, of which Dr. J complied. He pleaded with the two perpetrators not to harm him nor his daughter. Immediately after the perpetrators got what they wanted, they proceeded to unalive Dr. J, but his daughter's life was spared. And that's the statement she made to the police. The police went on to proceed with the case in search of the two perpetrators who had committed this foul criminal offense of unaliving a man who was well respected within the community and who played a pivotal role towards the Department of Education in Limpopo. 2 weeks later, the two perpetrators were then arrested. They were arrested in a place called Zebediela, which is also near Polokwane, and this took place on the 13th of January in 2024, just 2 weeks after the unaliving of Dr. J. The arrested perpetrators were 34 years of age. It was Tsebo Ranoto alongside Michael Molongoane. A weapon that was used to unalive Dr. J was found in possession inside Michael Molongoane's place of residence. It was without any doubt that these two men had unalived Dr. J, allegedly, of course. And then the police also found a Ford Ranger car, and this car was taken into police custody. It is believed to be the car that the two perpetrators were driving as they went to Dr. J's house to actually unalive him. As the police went on with the case, they found inconsistencies. And the big question at hand was, why exactly did they target Dr. J? What did they want from him? What exactly did he do? The police went on to proceed with the case. On the 15th of January, the police then arrested the daughter of Dr. J, Magdeline, alongside her aunt from her mother's side. Her aunt's name is Mologadi Magdeline, who was 44 years of age. And then, soon after that, they made their fifth and final arrest, which was that of Mologadi Magdeline, who is a Sangoma. If you're not South African, you're probably wondering, what exactly is a Sangoma? A A sangoma can be defined as a traditional healer, and at times they are referred to as witch doctors. So, why was the aunt as well as the daughter, the 28-year-old Magdeline, both arrested? How could they possibly be linked to the unaliving of Dr. J? And what does the sangoma have anything to do with this case? Well, Magdalene's lawyers advised her to be honest and tell the truth. Why exactly is she linked to this crime? The lawyers advised her that she should tell the truth, or perhaps the judge will become more lenient and understanding if she is being honest and compliant, which she did. Magdeline went on to narrate the story of what really happened on the night of her father's unaliving. And this is what she said. According to Magdeline, they lost her mother, and this really took a toll on her. She couldn't understand why. She wanted to get the answers of what exactly happened to her mother. And then she went on to go and consult with the sangoma, a witch doctor. And during her consultation, the witch doctor, sangoma, told her that her mother was unalived by her father, who used a muti on her. The sangoma claimed that Dr. J unalived his own wife using witchcraft. And then Magdeline was shocked, devastated, depressed, and she didn't understand why her father would do this. And then the witch doctor, Sangoma, went on to tell her that she should worry not. They will do the same to him. So the Sangoma went on to give Magdeline her own potion. And then the Sangoma allegedly told Magdeline to use this potion on her father, and it will slowly deteriorate his health, to which he will then be unalived. And nothing is going to be suspicious, because it will look like his health eventually failed him. Magdeline complied with the Sangoma, took the potion, and used it on her own father. Days went by, months went by, and nothing was changing in her father's mental and health state. He seemed fine. Magdeline was frustrated by this, because the potion she got from the Sangoma seemed to not be working according to her. This frustrated her to such an extent that she then went to her aunt, the mother's sister, and told her the entire story of what the Sangoma told her. The aunt was frustrated and couldn't believe what she was hearing. She too believed the story from the Sangoma, and Magdeline, with her aunt, conspired to unalive her father. They then planned 2 people to go and unalive her father. 2 men were then hired to do the job. The plan was for the 2 men to meet with Magdeline at the gate on the 28th of December so that she could let them inside the house. Whilst inside the house, she then took them to her father's bedroom where he was sleeping. And then that is where the crime took place. After they unalived him, they were promised to be paid 200,000 rands. 100,000 rands for each of the 2 unalivers, to which they received. It is alleged that these 200,000 was taken from Dr. J's pension fund. There was no trial because Magdeline confessed to her father's unaliving and the role she played in it. She was then later sentenced to life in prison for the unaliving of her father, or at least the planning of the unaliving of her father. And then she also got an additional 15 years for robbery. She will become eligible for parole in the next 15 to 20 years. Her lawyers are planning to appeal the case as they argue that Magdeline complied with the law, told the full story, and she is regretful of what she did, and she did it because she was grieving, and she did it upon the instructions of a trusted man, the Sangoma. And she understands her wrongdoing and she apologizes for it. And they argue that she's still 28 years of age, which is very young, and she still has her life ahead. And then we're left with her aunt, the 2 perpetrators who unalived Dr. J, as well as the Sangoma. They all pleaded not guilty. And last time I checked, during the process of filming this video, their trial was postponed to the 20th of June 2025 at Polokwane High Court. And now it's August and I haven't found anything relating to this trial on the internet. So if there's anybody who's watching this from South Africa and is well informed on this case, they can perhaps write down in the comment section to report on the progress of the aunt, the 2 unalivers, as well as the Sangomas, whom all pleaded not guilty. Should I find any updates, I will also try by all means to pin it in the comments section. And that was the case of Dr. Maleketu J. Mehlape. May his soul continue to rest in peace. And here is our main source for the case. Our second case is that of Mr. Joseph Maoto. Joseph Maoto was a 67-year-old man from Johannesburg. He was married to a woman named Thembi, who was 52 years of age. Mr. Joseph was a hopeless romantic, a very kind-hearted and loving man. He did not have any children nor a wife when he met and fell in love with Thembi. Thembi had already had 3 kids from her previous relationships. But Joseph was madly in love with her, and he took both Thembi and her 3 kids and loved them as their own. And then he went on to pay lobola for uThembi. This is a case that might change the laws in South Africa. Ilobola, for those who don't know, is the bride price, as others call it. In our culture, if you want to get married, you go meet with the wife's side of the family, including her father or uncles, etc., to ask for her hand in marriage. Once granted, you then pay what is referred to as ilobola, which can be in a form of cows, or nowadays people no longer use cows, but instead they use cash. So, back in the day before democracy in 1994, in our cultures, people would get married in the village through lobola negotiations. So if you are from the village, you would go and pay the bride price, and culturally speaking, you would be recognized as the wife. And then the husband would go, for example, and work in Joburg, whilst leaving their wife in the village to go make a better life. So what would normally happen is that when they get to Johannesburg, which is, there's a lot of capitalism taking place, they would then get married in Johannesburg to a second or a third wife through what is referred to as isiThembu, but that would not be culturally recognized, but it would be lawfully recognized. So once they get to Joburg, they find a woman, they would marry that woman in the court of law, and then they would get a marriage certificate. By law, the marriage with the marriage certificate is the only one that is being recognized because they got married in court. And then the wife sitting back at home in the village has no idea that their husband has a second wife in Joburg. And should the husband pass away, all his belongings, all that he owns, goes to the wife he married in Joburg, because they have a marriage certificate. And the one that was paid through lobola, culturally speaking, is not recognized by the law, yet it is a cultural wedding. So there was that gap within the South African law. So the wives will be left with nothing, and then the man would meet a random lady in Joburg, they get married, and then that person, they don't have kids, they don't have anything, they just got married and they have the certificate, then they get everything. The wife would then be left with the 10 kids in the village and absolutely nothing. So the South African government saw that there was a gap in that, and there was a new law put in place. And the law states that should you get married via what is called lobola negotiations, where you're going to go and pay the bride price, that is automatically marriage. It's seen as a marriage in the court of law. So should the husband pass away, if the wife has evidence or the family has evidence that they paid the lobola, then the wife then gets everything because it was done culturally. So if you're getting married via lobola negotiations, then that means you get married in community of property. What that implies is that what's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours. Once again, people found a loophole in that. They would meet somebody and know that they are in it for the wealth and not for the love. And they would ask that person to go pay the lobola, and then they're going to go to the court to get a marriage certificate afterwards. And then they get married, lobola negotiations, take pictures, and then they get married to lobola, and now it's time to go to the court to get the marriage certificate. Once at the court, people would say, yeah, I no longer want what's yours to be yours, or what's mine to be mine, or at least what we make during the marriage to be ours. I kind of feel comfortable with community of property. And then you'd be like, no, but we're not married yet, so that means I'm not going to marry you. And then they say, yeah, you already did marry me. We married in community of property, darling. The lobola negotiations were our marriage, which then now people firstly go to the court to get married if they want to keep their own belongings, get married, and then do the lobola negotiations last, unless they fully trust their partners and they trust what they had agreed on and that no party is going to change. So it is advisable to take that road if you don't trust each other. And if you don't trust each other, you shouldn't be getting married anyway. But anyway, that's not where we are. And then things happened that way. I was explaining this because it becomes relevant later in this case. So, Mr. Joseph lived with his wife as one big happy family in Johannesburg. They lived together with Thembi's 3 children, and he took on the role of being a father to Thembi's 3 children. On a random day, as they were living as a perfect family, someone knocked on Dr. Joseph's house, and it was a girl named Melissa Manzini from Limpopo. Melissa went on to state that she is the long-lost daughter of Mr. Joseph. Mr. Joseph was shocked because, based on his understanding, he did not have any children. And the daughter went on to state that her mother is so-and-so, who was in a relationship with Dr. Joseph around this time. They had a daughter, but the mother didn't say anything. But now that the daughter, Melissa, is all grown up, she asked her mother about her father, and then that's when he was led to Mr. Joseph. And Mr. Joseph was shook and excited at the same time because he had always wanted to have kids of his own. And he also did a good job raising Thembi's children as his own. So Thembi, the stepmother, was livid. She was not happy about this at all, and then insisted that Melissa do a DNA test, of which she did, and the results came back positive. Mr. Joseph was indeed Melissa's father. He then wanted to build a relationship with his daughter, to which unfortunately Thembi became the evil stepmother and did not want that to happen. She chased Melissa out of their Johannesburg home and told her never to step her foot on her family home ever again. Mr. Joseph was slightly sick at the time, and when this had happened, it took a toll on him, and his health began to deteriorate intensively. He really wanted to build a relationship with his daughter, but his wife was getting in the way and said that's never going to happen. Mr. Joseph then met secretly with his daughter, and then he took his daughter to Home Affairs, where they secretly got married in community of property. Mr. Joseph got married to his own daughter, Melissa, under the terms of what is mine is yours and what is yours is mine. He never got married to get a marriage certificate with his wife Thembi. All he did was pay lobola. So, Melissa was the wife of her dad, and the father went on to change everything in his will and put it on Melissa's name. His belongings included the Johannesburg home to which Melissa was chased away from, and then 3 cars, as well as a tavern. I did make a video where I was showing you guys village life, and I took you guys to a spaza shop, and I told you that a spaza shop is a convenient store for people who live in the village or township. So a tavern is more like a bar for people who live in a village. So if you live in a village, you want to have fun, drink, dance, all that, you would normally go to a place we call a tavern. So Mr. Joseph owned a tavern to which it was now registered under Melissa's name. This is a recent case that I'm talking to you guys about. So about a week or two ago, Mr. Joseph unfortunately passed away, which meant that everything he owned now belongs to his daughter, Melissa Manzini. So now it is time to lay him to rest, and the funeral arrangements have been put on pause because the wife, who was lobolad, who goes by the name of Tembi, claims that everything belongs to her and her 3 kids, not Melissa. And then now it looks like the wives are fighting. So since the house is now registered in Melissa's name, the wife and the 3 kids have been asked to vacate the premises in the Johannesburg home, to which they are refusing. But because everything is written in paper, the law had to take its course. The law has requested that Tembi and her 3 kids move out of the Johannesburg home by the 7th of August 2025. By then, they should be out of the premises and Melissa should now move in. More is to follow on this case as it is being unveiled. And this is most likely going to put more laws in place when it comes to such things, where culture mixes up with, what can I call it, capitalism. So it is what it is. Should the laws be changed? And is there such a law already put in place in South Africa? But all we know is that Melissa is now the wife of Joseph. Melissa Manzini married her own father. And the father, as many believe, did this in order to provide a future for the daughter that he was robbed of spending time and building a relationship with. It feels like he owed it to his child to at least give her something, as he was not there during her upbringing. And others believe that maybe he saw how evil her wife was, and that should he pass away, there would be complications in terms of dividing things with his own biological child, and she might be left stranded. So instead, he opted to go marry her so that everything could belong to his child. He did not do anything with the child. He just married his child so that she could have something when he passes away. The source of the story is this. I would like to send a shout out to all the fathers who are kind-hearted and want what's best for their children. May the soul of Joseph Maoto continue to rest in peace. Now, before I go, I would like to read you guys word of the day. We will be getting our word of the day on the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 15, and it reads, "Then he said to them, 'Watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions.'" I hope that these words comfort you and carry you through the rest of the week. Don't be greedy. Love one another.